So we're going to see the first move up of Luolis, and having a decent balance of Marauders and Marines actually worked in his favor the first time. Luolis is going to go ahead and expand outward for that fourth instead of moving closer to the sensor towers. So my darlings actually have to look for that expansion, which is exactly what he wants, or what Luolis wants. Now the unfortunate thing about Marauders is I believe they're armored, so actually they take bonus damage. So bonus splash damage against your units is fine. A little bit of a pain in the butt, but nothing too bad. Nothing that Luolis hasn't shown that he can't handle. And my darling being forced into siege mode, and Luolis actually just running away. Now these Vikings doing a good job making sure that these supply depots don't heal the units more than my darling really wants. We have another command center coming down from my darling right here. It's going to be her fifth actually. So yeah, just healing up outside the base. We do have level 3 weapons being upgraded for my darling, but nothing in terms of armor. I guess she figures, you know what? There's so much damage being dished out anyway. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Alright, so a few Marauders here being picked up by Luolis. So yeah, just drop him down at his base. Doesn't really have to worry about too much in terms of air defense, I suppose, outside of Vikings. Right here again, you know, he's gonna end up dropping a mineral line, just like he did before. Level 3 armor being upgraded for Luolis. So we kind of just have a stalemate here. I mean, nothing's really happening. Nothing too exciting. There's dropships just flying around. Some guys in there. I guess my darling want to see just how many tanks are over there. Now, the cool thing is these tanks have no upgrades. My darling is actually freeing up some supply. She has far too many SCVs, it looks like. And she's actually... she's going to see this drop coming thanks to that barracks. And Luolis is like, well, damn. I guess what I'll do is try and drop them right here. There's not a whole lot that my darling can actually do about it. I believe her whole army is right now. So, Marauders now have free reign inside the mineral line, and Luolis is actually forcing my darling to bring the whole army downward, and he sees that, so he's actually free to make a move and gain some ground if he should want to. My darling moving the Hellions into position here, but with all that armor, +2 armor here, that's going to reduce the damage by quite a bit. And we do have some Thors now, so Thors are in action and ready to roll. And now this is actually not looking good for Luolis. Now that my darling started to get some Thors out, unfortunately her supply obviously is capped. It has been capped for a while, so she's not going to be able to get too many Thors out, but it's going to be enough Thors, just enough Thors to actually counter this stim bio. Luolis is going to have to, again, utilize his positioning in a big way to overcome the mass amount of mech that's right here. In his benefit, however, he doesn't have full upgrades, or my darling doesn't have full upgrades, so it kind of benefits Luolis, actually in a large way. Having the tech advantage goes a long way for you when you're up against mech and you're trying to utilize your bio. Especially when you're rocking out tons of Marauders. Yep. My darling trying to find a good place for positioning, and Luolis is actually getting some really effective scans here. He's also taking over the entire top portion of the map. I mean, both these players, we are gearing up for a really long game here. I don't know about you guys, but I am getting tired. It is... Whew. My darling also taking a 5th right down here. She is going to be quite comfortable with this base. There's not a whole lot that anyone can do about it, and she's actually going to be putting sensor towers all over the map. So Luolis is really not going to have the element of surprise, which is precisely what he needs. My darling is going ahead and kamikazing all of her SCVs. She needs to make more units. She needs to have the army advantage, and she knows it. Army advantage right now is 5 in favor of my darling. In the grand scheme of things, that is almost 1 Thor. Not quite what she's looking for. We do have the SCV rush on the sensor towers. Can he get it? Can he get the sensor tower? No, he cannot. Tanks now with +3 attack inside the expansion here for Luolis. We did have some Hellions. Hellions going to go ahead and get cleaned up. Gonna go ahead and get a scout, though, which is pretty beneficial. But his army's out of position. My Darling capitalizing on that. The Vikings coming in, and they'll actually be able to just land if they want to. Ravens following up behind that. Lualis is actually in a lot of trouble now. He actually moved his army out of position. We didn't have to. Now all My Darling really has to do is siege up and do as much damage as she really wants to. This is not good. I mean, it's not game breaking, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, you're losing all your production. But here comes Wallace, going to burst right through the sensor tower. My Darling sees it coming, obviously. This is actually not a good sign here for Wallace if he continues to let her go all the way through, which she is very much so going to. It looks like we're going to have a base race. I almost couldn't say it. Yeah, my mind is so blown, I almost couldn't say it. Coming right down here inside the main, we have Mech coming up through the Wallaces. We have Bio coming up through My Darlings. This could actually end in either's favor. What Lualis really needs to make sure is that no SCVs get by, and he takes out as much production as he possibly can, because Mech is really expensive. And you know, if he takes all the production of My Darling and is able to make sure no SCVs get by, he can actually win this base race just by attrition. Lualis is the first one to hit supply cap, however, and the tanks are just plugging away. Bio is so much faster and so much more effective. There are only 4 dropships doing all the healing, but at the same time, anything that lifts off is going to get picked up by these Vikings. And tanks having a hard time getting up here. The Thors and the tanks are clogged. The drain is clogged. You can't effectively attack up here. Oh, man. Yeah, we actually have a similar thing down here. These units are all trying to attack something that they just cannot shoot at. My Darling's units are just stuck right here. There we go. The clog is free. My Darling flying her command center right up inside. These Vikings do an excellent job of pecking away at Wallace's production. My Darling is now trying to lift off all the units, trying to run away. We have probably one of the most annoying base races in the history of base races, it looks like. The Vikings are going to come in here and just pew, 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 America all over these barracks. The Bio Moon right through. I believe this is the 4th. I don't even know. This guy's had so many bases. And looks like Lualis is actually going to expand right above this base for My Darling. So they have effectively wiped each other out. And Lualis is actually going to go for battle cruisers, which is always a blast. Yeah, it has been pretty much exactly what LEGO said. This is what happens when you have crazy macro games TVT, or macro map, excuse me. And the command center is going to explode. My Darling is going to try and speed this base race up. My Darling is actually in a pretty good position here by moving the command center in the old base of My Darling. I guess she's going to go ahead and leave that command center there. We have command centers flying all over the damn place. No one knows what's going on. And we have the... Oh no, Lualis is going to lose some Vikings that he doesn't need to lose. Always expensive losses when you don't need to lose a unit, and you lose it anyway. Let's see what the army supply is at. Army supply is still even. Ah, my goodness, this is going to take some time, guys. Get comfy. My Darling is now hovering outside Lualis's Fortress of Destiny. Now, Lualis is actually in a better position here. No, never mind. There is one command center, but in the grand scheme of things, Lualis does have more buildings. This factory is still alive here. These units are still here, so it's not like he's gonna lose if this dies, and it's not like he's gonna win if these units die. He's actually worse off in the grand scheme of things, because all of his remaining buildings are pretty much localized and centralized except for this one command center. My Darling is spread out all throughout the map, which gives her an advantage because she has less traveling to do. All she needs to do is go into the bottom right corner of the map and just say, hey, it's time to end this. I don't know, at this point I kind of feel like that I think it'd be a good idea just to bum rush, bum rush your opponent. Going for the kill. But it looks like My Darling is actually going to go for the kill first. Going to go right inside the base right away. Lualis, if he should want to, could actually take this out just because the sheer amount of marauders that he has. He is in a lot of trouble though. He has precious moments to get his base out of there and get his army across the map, which is being scanned by My Darling, is being scanned quite well. Not going to be able to get element surprise here, so he's not even going to engage the army, which is not exactly the best idea because his factory is still here. Yeah, I think, you know what, Lewis is in a pretty tight spot here. That's going to come down to Command Center versus Command Center. They're going to have a dance-off in the middle of the map. Again, the army supply is still relatively equal. 130 in My Darling's favor to 126 Lawless's favor. The Wallace, I mean, he's going to stem up there and kill as many as he can if those command centers lift off. I mean, and there we go. We have the liftoff. So there's not a whole lot that he can do outside of Vikings to kill things that are in the air, which is kind of unfortunate for him. But hey, you know what? Here's what it is. The base race. Gotta love him. He's trying to make all the buildings get into red, but I don't think he's going to be able to get the last one in red. It's going to come down to the Vikings, but while he's focusing on that command center, My Darling is actually coming up from the rear. My Darling is actually going to catch Lawless out of position. No, actually, she's really not. Lawless is going to have defender's advantage should My Darling come up here, but it's not looking like she's going to. My guess is she's actually going to siege up here and contain Wallace's base, or contain his units. Never mind, she's going up straight to the front door. Unbelievable. So here it is, the final showdown. Oh, tremendous amount of siege damage here, but these Marauders are going to way overpower anything that My Darling has down here. And that's the beautiful thing about Marauders. However, these swords are actually doing a good job fighting it off. So, no, what I thought was going to be in Lawless's favor is now pretty tie. And Will Wallace, we all feel the same. 40 minutes, my friend. It was a good game. I think a lot of players that feel that way. I think Zerg all say the same thing. Playing against mech hurts my brain. If not Soul, pretty sure it comes right down to Soul feels. And I'm not quite sure where we're at right now. All right, we're gonna keep this going. Keep the game alive. So My Darling is going to walk around with what units she has. We do see some command centers being built everywhere. That command center is getting lifted off. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is there's nothing that My Darling really has. You know, actually, I think My Darling will be able to reach just about anything that flies into a corner. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. I mean, you know, we have a bunch of barracks coming down right here. My Darling has effectively used all of her minerals. Yes, this game has been going on so long, his clothes are going out of style. That's a smart joke. I caught that. Took me a second, but I caught it. Well, it makes me feel any better. My clothes have never been in style. So. All right, we have a showdown right here. Your hand. The Thor is gonna do some pew pew. And it looks like we are gonna drag this out. There is no need to keep dragging this out, but I guess we are going to. Ah! Nothing like chauvinism. Come on now. Do we have to do this? Okay, I mean we do have something going on here. We do. He Lawless does actually have a good idea, and he's this is actually not a BM base race. This is actually a legit base race, I guess you could say. I mean he's doing something, so it's you know, 41 minutes of pure awesomeness. would appear